So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our off-season rebuild series, and today it's going to be the Denver Nuggets. Last night, we all obviously saw the defending champs lose Game 7 on their home floor against Ant-Man and the rest of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this was a very, very interesting game for so many different reasons. First and foremost, it really looked like in that first half that Minnesota was just kind of done. It looked like Denver was going to run away with it. Went into halftime with a 15-point lead. It looked like there was nobody that was able to stop Nikola Jokic. And ultimately, a switch just flipped at halftime. I don't really know what happened exactly, but the defensive intensity from Minnesota ramped up. They got a lot of offensive output from other guys because Anthony Edwards was certainly not having a great game. But this was a surprise. This keeps up a trend, I think, dating back to 2019, that the defending champs have not made it out of the second round the year after winning their championship. So it was a shocker to say the least. This is a Minnesota team that is very, very good, and they are certainly here to make some noise. We'll talk about this Nuggets roster and where I kind of think things went wrong in just a second, but of course, before we do, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. I was expecting to do a Nuggets offseason rebuild maybe sometime later, maybe late May, if not early June at some point, but no, we are here doing them today. I love the offseason rebuild. I've been having an absolute blast with these. It seems like you guys have been as well. So I didn't originally think we were going to have, a lot of work to do today, but maybe we do. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are here in offseason number 1. We're going to do this one the same way we've done every single offseason rebuild. 3 off seasons, 3 regular seasons, and hopefully end up with at least 1 championship. So let's go ahead and have a conversation about this Denver Nuggets roster. There's obviously a lot of talent here, and let's talk about where some things didn't really go too well. So starting out with Jamal Murray, very, very good player. Obviously rises his game to a whole nother level come playoff time. This was a challenging series for him. Obviously, many people thought there was a possibility he could be suspended after throwing a heat pack onto the floor in, game 2 against Minnesota. So Jamal Murray had a really, really strong first half last night. I think he had, 25 at half or something like that, and then just really couldn't find his shot in the second half. So, that just kind of goes to the level of defensive intensity that Minnesota was really putting out there. But it was a weird series for Jamal. He's very, very good. Certainly proven he's a number 2 option on a championship team. But I don't know. I wouldn't think that he was very pleased with the way he played in that second half and maybe for the majority of the series. So that's just me. Jalen Pickett didn't really see the court very much here in today's video. He is only 24, but he is a 70 overall. So we'll see. Maybe he can get some minutes at some point in time. Also, if you're wondering where Reggie Jackson is, we're in the offseason. I'm just assuming he retired. I was probably going to replace him anyways. KCP. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a really important piece of this Nuggets team. Obviously provides a lot of three-point shooting for them. He's a really good defensive shooting guard. And I don't really know what the future is with him here in 2K, just because he's 31 years old. We all know how the regression works, but certainly a very serviceable role player and a very, very important facet to this Denver Nuggets team. Justin Holiday actually played a little bit and actually thought he played pretty well in the minutes he provided. Played good defense, thought three-point shooting, especially from the corner, was pretty good. So we'll see, maybe at some point. And then Julian Strawther, I don't really know what the ceiling is with him, but again, only 22, maybe that overall can bump up a few. Small forward spot, Michael Porter Jr. Is he a Lakers merchant? I don't know. This was a bad series for Michael Porter Jr. I know Jaden McDaniels obviously has quite a bit of length they can throw at him, and obviously, Cat, Gobert. There's just a lot of size over there in Minnesota. So Michael Porter Jr., I know he has a lot of shit going on in real life with his family, which sucks, obviously, but they needed more out of him, and they just didn't get it. And unfortunately, that can be the difference in a 7-game series. Christian Brown is here. Kind of emerged last year, obviously, come playoff time as a really important role player for this team. High energy guy, can obviously hit some crucial shots. So I like him as a player for us here today, maybe off the bench, 6th, 7th man, something like that. Power forward spot. Aaron Gordon was so important in this series, and he is legitimately, in my opinion, maybe the glue that holds this Nuggets team together. Many people criticized Denver when they gave him a contract extension back in 2021. He's obviously already kind of proved and gone out there and showed what he can do and how valuable he is to this group. I didn't love his Game 7 last night. I didn't think he was nearly as physical or as aggressive as they ultimately wanted him and kind of needed him to be. So, it is what it is. Peyton Watson's here. Didn't see the floor a lot last night. Actually, did he play at all? I don't really know. Hunter Tyson, Vlatko Koncha. These are players that are probably not going to see the rotation a ton. We'll see. And then let's talk about the man of the hour, Nikola Jokic. 3-time MVP now. Obviously defending finals MVP for about 2 more weeks. And then, he's the best player in the world, in my opinion. One game doesn't define somebody. The thing that might catch up to him at some point is that I don't think he's beat a 50-plus win team in the playoffs in a series. So I'm not going to sit here and say that last night was his fault. It was not. The three-point shooting was abysmal. I think he was 1 of 8. So that's certainly something that needs to be worked upon a little bit, especially in these kind of crucial moments. But, I mean, if I'm picking anybody in the world to go out and say, hey, I need a bucket, it's probably still Nikola Jokic. So that game last night was not on him. I know there were some things he certainly could have done better, but I'm going to sit here and say we're not moving on from Nikola Jokic today. Zeke Naji, I don't think he played at all. All right, so let's get into this offseason. We'll start out at staff signing. I hated Mike Malone's answers last night post-game. He was a sour, bitter prick last night. Like, I get it. You won a championship last year. You can talk all the shit you want. That's kind of what you get when you win a championship as the head coach. But in the same kind of sense, if you're going to lose, you got to kind of face the media. You got to, you got to go deal with it. He was just very bitter. I mean, he was just very, I don't care about a 20-point lead. We fucking lost. Like, answer the goddamn questions, Mike. He's still a very good head coach. I just thought that was a little shitty to go out and kind of do after that. So, all right, let's head up to the draft. We do have our first round pick this year. It is at number 28, and then we actually, funny, I don't know if this is actually the Timberwolves second, but we do have a second that I'm actually not going to use. So, nobody wants it. All right, I will draft somebody at number 28. There's certainly maybe a bench piece we could get there and something like that. Zach Edey sitting here. Maybe. I feel like how funny would it be to draft Zach Edey? I mean, if you're going to learn from any, big, like, not very gracefully moving center, I guess maybe Nikola Jokic is your best answer. I know this is not me saying Zach Edey's going to turn into Nikola Jokic, but fuck it. Why not? Let's go ahead and draft Zach Edey out of Purdue. Obviously, was just playing in the national championship game, and nobody still wants our second-round pick. I don't have another second-round pick to match it with, so screw it. I guess we are going to go ahead and draft somebody here. Tyler Koloko. I've heard that name from Marquette. Is he really good in March Madness? Sure, why not? I don't know. It's just he's probably never even going to play. All right, so Edey's a 74. Koloko is a 69. That's cool with me. KCP picks up his option. Conchar is going to be fine. I don't play with injuries on. But Brown and Watson obviously would like to get the youngsters back on this team. So Jay Huff, Braxton Key, and Colin Gillespie, you can all test out unrestricted free agency. There's not a lot of flexibility with this team, just with the way the roster is constructed. You have a lot of guys making a decent amount of money, so I don't plan on making many major changes. I don't want to run it back, because what's the point of a rebuild then, but we are certainly not going to blow this up. Our first trade of this rebuild is going to come with the Washington Wizards, and it is certainly an interesting one. Now, let me explain to you my thought process a little bit. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I really think he is an important piece of this team. I do not think they're going to move on from him this offseason, but ultimately here in 2K, we know how the regression works. We can see the contract situation. I think it makes sense for us to get a little bit younger. Now, obviously, Corey Kispert can provide some of the shooting that KCP had to offer. The defense is not there. But the good news is he is 6 years younger. He is obviously a little bit cheaper, and I think this makes a little bit more sense for us in the long run. So if this wasn't 2K, I'm never making this trade. I just want that out on the record, but we are getting a little bit younger at the shooting guard spot and one overall higher. And then ultimately, I wanted to see Zeke Naji actually kind of grow into some sort of role, but we drafted Zach Edey, and he's actually already a higher overall. So that's kind of my thought process there. So welcome to the team, Corey Kispert. Going to take over as my starting shooting guard. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more moves. Okay, we just pulled off a trade with the New York Knicks, went ahead and moved on from a lot of different guys that were either out of the rotation or on the bench, and it landed us Deuce McBride. It was Conchar, Tyson, Koloko, who we just drafted, and maybe Pickett, somebody else. But we didn't give up a single draft pick. We got Deuce McBride, who's now going to be very much welcomed on this team. Obviously, high-energy guy, really good defensive point guard, and that contract's an absolute steal. So he'll come in to be the new backup to Jamal Murray. Fantastic pickup for us, and if you weren't aware, this is obviously not a realistic rebuild. So I actually might let Strawther play a little bit behind Kispert, who obviously we just picked up here. I don't really know what his ceiling is, but if there's a little bit of room to grow there, I'd like to see that obviously kind of come to fruition. So at this point, the only thing we have to do is maybe move on from Rashawn Holmes. We don't have a ton of future assets in terms of draft picks, so anybody who wants to give me a draft pick for Rashawn Holmes, I'll certainly take it. So thank you very much, Charlotte Hornets. All right, that's going to be our final deal. We have 10 guys moving forward that we're going to play. We've obviously added a couple new pieces to this team, and I think this team will be back. So let's go ahead and set the rotation. I'll see you guys at the start of year 1. Ready to go for the first season here in Denver. We had a pretty interesting offseason. We didn't go ahead and make any blockbuster moves for another superstar or anything like that, but I think the way we kind of filled out the rest of this team, improving the bench unit a little bit, 1 new starter here with Corey Kispert, I think they're moves that are going to benefit us both now and obviously in the long run. So here's the team. Main guys are obviously back. Jamal Murray, very much going to be my point guard, likely for this entire video. I have 0 plans to move on unless he just stinks for some reason. New addition here with Corey Kispert at the shooting guard spot, as we all talked about. Lost a little bit of of defense there with KCP, but we're not seeing the regression, which is exactly what we wanted. We still have the three-point shooting. Michael Porter Jr., I need him to kind of take another step right now. That's exactly what I need. He's getting paid quite a bit of money, and I'd like to really see him emerge as that true maybe number 3 option. I know he's already obviously kind of been that on a championship team. You get it. Aaron Gordon here at the 4, still a very, very important piece of this team. Obviously provides a lot on both sides of the ball. And then Nikola Jokic, very well, maybe could be on his way to a 4th MVP. We'll find out. Bench unit looks a little bit different. Christian Brown going to take over as my 6th man here. He's a 78 overall. I want him playing 20 minutes a night. Got Miles Deuce McBride from the New York Knicks for basically a bag of peanuts, and I'm super excited about that. I'd like to see what he can contribute, and it really does improve that backup point guard spot. Peyton Watson is now going to be fully into this rotation as our backup power forward. Hopefully can provide a little bit of a spark. Off that bench for us, Julian Strawther up to a 75 overall. Going to get the backup shooting guard minutes. Hopefully that doesn't come back to backfire, but nice to see that development. And then Zach Edey, who we took late in the first round. I'm surprised he was still sitting there, but maybe Jokic can teach him a thing or two. Who the hell knows? This team is good. I mean, there was no doubting about that, whether we made any changes or not. It's just about whether everything can click at the right time. So I'll see you guys at the end of year number 1. It is MVP number 4 for the best player in the world. Nikola Jokic, insane stat line all around. It is a 30-point triple-double. We go 63-19 throughout the course of the regular season, which is fantastic. It's a very good Western Conference. I am hoping that is good enough for the 1 seed. It is Ron Holland winning Rookie of the Year. It looks like the Atlanta Hawks took him with their number 1 overall selection. All right, thanks for the joke on a Monday morning, 2K. Wemby is your DPOY. Azar Thompson, most improved. Steph Curry, clutch player of the year. Mike Malone does win coach of the year for us. So, very good news. Obviously, looking to maybe make a long playoff run, not losing round number 2. We are the 1 seed. We beat out the Thunder by 5 games here in the West, and we did have the best record in all of basketball. So, here are the numbers. Let's check it out. Jokic led us in scoring. I mean, this is just ridiculous numbers all around the board. Jamal Murray, obviously, our number 2 option. Michael Porter Jr., Gordon, Brown, Kispert, Edey. Wow. 10 minutes a night for Zach Edey. These are the numbers you're putting up. I know by no measure, no calculation per 36 numbers are like official predictions, but I'm just curious. Wow. That's insane. Miles McBride, Strawther, and then Watson. Rebounds per game, Jokic. Assists per game, Jokic. It's just nuts. All right, who's going to be round 1? It is us, though. Oh, my God. You can run from it. You can hide from it. I mean, it's always going to come true. Jalen Hood-Schifino, Austin Reeves, Rui, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You got Jared Vanderbilt. So, not a lot of moves in the offseason for this Lakers team. They basically just ran it back and let D'Lo walk. I mean, all right. Here goes nothing. I think we can beat this team. They do steal game 1 on the road. We tie it up at 1s, go up 2-1, up 3-1. We close them out in 5. Beautiful. Gentleman's sweep. All right, now we get to face an old foe, and oh boy, this Timberwolves team. I mean, if you could have told me that Anthony Edwards would have finished the game with, 16 points and was 6 of 24 from the field, and, Minnesota still, won by, 10 plus, whatever the hell it was, I would have said you're lying. I mean, this is a team that is very well built. There's a little bit of inexperience here for a lot of these guys. Like Ant, this is like his first real playoff run. Cat's making his first Western Conference final. I mean, this is not a team with a ton of experience. So I got a lot of credit and a lot of respect for the Minnesota Timberwolves and what they're doing right now, man. They're going to be very fun for years to come. But hopefully we can get a little bit of revenge right now. They steal game 1 on the road. We tie it up at 1s. Go down 2-1. Oh, my God. Don't do this. Game 7 back at home. Oh my God, they blew a 3-1 lead. All right, that's a little bit of revenge. I will certainly take that. Now we move on to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are, always in a position, and especially in 2K, to be a pain in the ass. So their rebuild will be coming very soon. They always end up with OG Anunoby. It's pretty much in the script of 2K. I think this offseason they'll look to move on from Josh Giddey. I'll hold the rest of my Josh Giddey comments to myself right now, but they will probably look for a new shooting guard, a new backcourt member next to SGA next season. We're up 3-0, so we're just kind of running them out of their own building, and we are back in the finals, and we're running back to 2023 finals. Tyler Hero Conference Finals MVP. All right, here's Miami. Scary Terry, Hero, Jimmy, Jovic, Bam. You got Jaquez off the bench. Bogdanovich. That is an elite pickup if they could ever swing that. You got Markelle Fultz here. A little bit of heat culture certainly would not hurt Markelle Fultz. And then Matas Buzelis is somehow here. I have no idea how he fell. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be like a top 10 pick. All right, here goes nothing in the NBA Finals. We quickly win game 1 and 2. They win game 3. We go up 3-1, and are we just going to do the same thing that happened in 2023, head back to Denver and close it out here in game 5? It certainly looks like it's a possibility at this point. So, this one is over. All right, well, I'll see you guys in there. Here we go. We are on the verge of championship number 2 in 3 years. Obviously, we've only actually won one of them here in this game, but we are in a pretty good position right now. Markelle Fultz trying to hang with Jamal. Cannot do so. I guess let's chat about the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I've said a lot of, kind of what I wanted to talk about so far, just about this team and the end that they had, obviously, that was probably unfortunate to them, because even though the West was such a bloodbath throughout the course of this regular season, like, I don't think anybody realistically thought that this this Nuggets team was not going to make at least a West final, right? Like, it just seemed like they had always been the best. They were by far the most battle-tested between the top four especially, so it was weird. It was a weird ending, and it was a strange game. Like, I even tweeted out a couple times, like, heading into the half, I'm like, this shit's over. Like, the moment seems a little too big right now for Anthony Edwards, and maybe it still was, considering his numbers. But he obviously provided a lot of defense in that second half. I know there's two sides of the ball. Sometimes people truly do forget that. So, I'm not taking anything away from Ant and the way he played. He had a fantastic series overall. A lot of guys stepped up. I thought Jaden McDaniels had a fantastic Game 6 and Game 7. Gobert, who had a lot of tough moments, especially in that first half, just looked almost unplayable offensively, really stepped his game up. That one little, like, it wasn't even a floater. It was, like, almost Jokic-esque. That little shot he hit, like, maybe 15-footer. I was like, what the hell am I watching right now? So, I mean, you really just got to nod your cap and give a ton of credit here to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, I'm pumped for the Western Conference Finals. I do not know how that's going to go. I mean, Luka, Kyrie's quite a bit of offensive firepower, but Denver also has a lot of offensive firepower. So I'm interested. I very much am. I mean, two faces of the NBA with Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic going at it. I'm absolutely pumped. I am absolutely pumped. My Celtics obviously taking on the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'll say this. I by no means am I saying that the Celtics have like a free championship now. But if I had to pick any team in the West that I did not want to face, like the team I would have wanted to face the least, it was Denver. I still stand by that. I want absolutely nothing to do Denver. And I don't think it's absolutely insane to say that the only team that could have possibly beaten Denver would have been the Timberwolves, just from a personnel standpoint. Obviously, you have two 7-footers in that front court, and one of them is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. So that's just kind of my thought process on that. I'm surprised that, you know, Timberwolves beat Denver, but if anybody was going to do it, it was probably going to be them. That's just kind of my take on it. I think if Denver wins this series, I think there's a strong possibility they would have been on their way to a second state championship. That's just my opinion of it. So we're good for now. We have a long rebuild to go. I'll see you guys with the Finals MVP. Championships in year one are always my favorite. Nikola Jokic, oh my God. I mean, just look at those numbers. So, fantastic way to end year one. Still have a lot of work to do. LeBron retires. I cannot override it because he technically retired year one. Staff retirements, cool. Hall of Fame inductees. LeBron, Russ also calling it a career. Jersey retirements, LeBron, Russ, Blake Griffin. Draft lottery time. I know we're not going to have a pick in the lottery. Let's sim through it nonetheless. Looks like the Houston Rockets are hoping for a very, very strong lottery. And wow, New York, they actually shouldn't have that pick. I'm not going to go in and change it, but they should not have that. All right, staff signing. We're good with Mike Malone entering the final year of his contract. We'll probably keep him the entire time. I do think he's a top 5 coach in basketball. We do not have any draft picks this year, which is completely fine by me. We have a lot of young players on this team. So Aaron Gordon entering unrestricted free agency, Kispert entering restricted free agency, and I would certainly like to entertain the idea of and Jamal Murray. Yeah, we have to make sure we get our guys back, because if we do not, we are very much screwed. So that's 3 starters right there, and we get all of them back, which is exactly what I kind of needed right now. I could not risk losing any single one of them. So at this point, I mean, there's no real reason to make any changes. There's not like some old ass person on this team that's really not, I mean, what do I change, right? What do I change? I don't know. You know what? I'll make a change heading into year 3. As of now, things are staying the exact same. If you're mad about that, I'm sorry, but I'm of the opinion if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Championships in year one are always kind of weird, because part of me is like, hey, the rebuild's not over, but I've done a lot of the legwork already, and said legwork wasn't even really much to begin with. So we're in a weird spot because I didn't make any changes in terms of this 10-man rotation in the offseason, but we are certainly still here and we want another championship. So I'm not going to make a trade just to make a trade. That's how you find yourselves in very bad positions. So we're running it back. It is Jamal Murray, Corey Kispert, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic. Bench unit looks exactly the same with Christian Brown, Deuce McBride, Peyton Watson, Zach Edey now playing 12 minutes a night versus the 10. Again, I'd like to get him even more, but it's kind of weird because, you know, our best player on the team is a center, so he's playing obviously the most minutes out of anybody, and then the rest of this bench might just be better than Edey. So weird position. And then Julian Strawther here as well. So the team has talent. There's no doubting that, and I certainly expect to be in the mix for another championship and hopefully win in a third in 4 years. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 2. It is not a fifth MVP for Nikola Jokic, but it is a first for one of his very good friends. Luka Doncic, a 36-point triple-double. These guys are just seeing who can be better throughout an 82-game regular season. We don't go 63-19, we go 62-20. So, again, it's just, we're splitting hairs. Who the hell cares? Cooper Flagg is a Celtic. Are you kidding me? The kid from Maine's going to end up in Boston somehow? Really? Emmanuel Quickley is now a Philadelphia 76er, and he is your sixth man of the year. Wemby, Defensive Player of the Year. Sarr, Most Improved. Maxey, Clutch Player of the Year. Malone, second straight Coach of the Year. So, we're still feeling good. We would obviously like to win another one, but, we have a lot of work to do. 8 games up on the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I'm surprised are not, closer. It almost feels like the Thunder are always just inevitable as a 1 seed in these videos. So, here are the splits for Jokic. 29.5 points, 13.5 boards, nearly 11 assists a game. I know Luka. It was either him or Luka, right? Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Gordon, Brown, Kispert, Edey, Strother, Watson, and then Deuce McBride. Rebounds, Jokic. Assists, Jokic. All right. Round 1, us in the Memphis Grizzlies. This is an interesting team. This is a team that certainly has the talent. They are going to be back next year. I am fully of the belief that Memphis is going to be very good next year once again. So John Morant leading this group. It is a talented team, and I am hopefully excited to beat them in round 1. So we are up 2-0 right now, go up 3-0, and then we close them out in a sweep. Western Conference semifinals. The young, up-and-coming Houston Rockets, who have somehow added Mr. Jalen Brunson. I don't know why New York letting him walk, but this is pretty much the Houston Rockets just with Jalen Brunson. Wait, was Jalen Green there? No, Jalen Green's not here. Maybe they traded Jalen Green for I don't fucking know. All right, we are up 3-1, and we win in 5. Western Conference Finals, us in the Dallas Mavericks. You got 2 really, really good friends here with Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, just the triple-double guys going at it here in the West Finals, and let's see what ends up happening. We drop game 1 at home, win game 2, lose 3, lose 4. Okay. Oh my God, are we going to do it again? Twice in this video, we've now come back from being down 3-1. In the Charlotte Hornets, and Evan Mobley. What? I don't really know. Okay, well, we should win this series. Up 3-0, and thanks for coming out. All right, it is another Finals MVP for Nikola Jokic, and 2 seasons, 2 championships. So I'm not going to run it back. I will make changes. I know just running it back for 1 year is not great, especially 2 years. That would really suck. So we are officially going to be making a move. What that move is, I have no idea. I thought I saw a Nuggets logo here, but I guess I was wrong. Let's sim through this. It is the Magic, Pelicans, Bulls, Raptors, and Thunder. Staff signing, we will make sure we find Mr. Michael Malone, and I'd just like to bring him back. Thank you very much. Just pay him all the money. Just take whatever you want. All right, Mike Malone is back. Let's head up to the draft. Do we have our own first-round pick? We probably do. I don't think I traded it. We also have the Hornets, who we just beat in the finals. All right, we have 28 and 30. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to include these in a trade. Could I upgrade something out there? Do I want to try to upgrade Corey Kispert? I guess. Why not? I don't have to. He fits very well for what this team's kind of looking for, but if I have to upgrade some sort of starter, it's probably him. So let's just look at guys making 14.5, if not less million, and who's under contract. Oh, good God. All right. Yeah, it's not a long list. All right, I guess you know what? We'll just draft somebody there. Let's just draft somebody with both of these picks. I don't know this draft class at all. I'm not going to pretend to. City guy. Again, these players aren't probably going to actually play for me, so it's just weird. And Patrick and Ngombo. Cool. All right, I have no idea what I'm going to do with either of those players, but they are both here, 73 and 71 overall, respectively. Strother and Edey are both going to be brought back. Qualifying Watson and Brown, I'd like to retain both their services, so let's just do that. They are really our only 2 free agents. Again, I will make a change. I don't know exactly what that change is going to be, but I will show you guys when I find it. Okay, we just added Amen Thompson to this team. Why? I have absolutely no idea, but we made it upgrade at our shooting guard spot. Did I have to do that? Absolutely not, but I did. I gave up every draft pick. One of the guys we just drafted, and I guess we're ready to go into our final season. I don't know. I did not have to do this by any means, but we upgraded the shooting guard spot, and I guess I'm happy with it. So, that's the only trade we're going to make. I know, this is weird because this team's so fucking good that you didn't really have to do a lot to it, right? So, I could have maybe traded one of MPJ or Gordon, but why would I do that, right? That's just, it's dumb. I'll see you guys at the start of the final regular season. Last year was technically our third championship in 4 years, meaning it is officially a dynasty. And of course, we want to keep that dynasty going as we head into our third and final regular season. We did make a change. I don't know if it was a necessary change, but it was a change that happened nonetheless. Jamal Murray has a new backcourt mate, and that is going to be Mr. Amen Thompson, who we got from the Houston Rockets. Really didn't give up a lot to get him, and I really don't know why they traded him to us. But they did, and he's here, and he is now going to be our starting shooting guard. Michael Porter Jr. here at the 3, got Gordon and then Nikola Jokic. I also fully understand that Amen Thompson is not going to be that, sharpshooter that a Corey Kispert or a KCP is, but it's overalls that Chuki typically cares about, not the really shooting stats. Julian Strawther going to be my 6th man here. He's emerged as an 80 overall. I am happy I haven't moved on from him, so he's taken over as 6th man. Christian Brown still here, Deuce McBride. Zach Edey was up to an 80 overall, but he's still only playing 12 minutes. Just from a need standpoint, right? I do not want to find myself in a scenario where him and Jokic are on the floor at the same time. That's a way too slow front court. And then we still got Peyton Watson here. So this team is talented. I know this hasn't been the craziest or the most challenging rebuild, but that's what you find yourself in when really talented teams lose early like Denver did. So that's where we're at. I'll see you guys at the end of the final regular season. What's that, 5 MVPs for Jokic now? I don't know. It was our best regular season record yet at 69-13. Nice. We are hopefully very much well on our way to a 3rd championship in this video and a 4th and 5th in 5 years. AJ Demancda is your rookie of the year in New Orleans. Vez Mystery is your 6th man. Wemby, another depoy. Jaleel Bethea, most improved. A clutch player of the year goes to Giannis, and it is a 3rd straight coach of the year for our head coach. Our head honcho, Mr. Mike Malone. All right, let's dive into it a little bit. 8 games up on the Thunder, who are winning 60-plus games, but still not even sniffing a 1 seed. That's got to be just defeating. And, maybe we'll see him in the West Finals. Here are the numbers. Jokic, Murray, MPJ, Gordon, Thompson, Strawther, Edey, Brown, McBride, and Watson. Rebounds per game, Jokic. Assists per game, Jokic. All right, playoff time, New Orleans. Dyson Daniels, Jaleel Bethea, Ingram, Keegan Murray. Ooh, I like the Keegan Murray edition. I'm playing Zion at the 5. It is an interesting decision. All right, here goes nothing in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. We quickly take a 2-0 lead, go up 3-0, and thanks for coming out. All right, it is West Semis time. We have found our friends in Minnesota again. They have replaced Mike Conley with Scary Terry. They have Carlton Carrington coming off the bench, but the rest of the starting 5 remains the same. So here goes nothing. We are we're tied at 1-1, go up 2-1. Up 3-1, and we are now in the West Finals once again, taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, who... they're the Thunder. Can we win? I think we certainly can. So, just up 2-1, up 3-1, and yeah. Why are the fucking Hornets keep coming out of the East? What the hell? Oh, man. Oh, wow, 1-7. All right, well, that is a 3rd straight championship. It is a 4th in 5 years, obviously, as I talked about. And, this was certainly not a stressful rebuild by any means. I knew it was never going to be. Obviously, with them losing last night, I thought it was a good time to do one. And really, no matter when I did it, it was probably going to go like this. So I gave a lot of my thoughts on this team and kind of where I think things went wrong. I thought it was not a great series from Michael Porter Jr. I thought Aaron Gordon wasn't great in Game 7 specifically. And then Jokic just has to see some 3 balls go down. 1 of 8 from 3 is really, really tough. I understand he's 7 feet tall and he probably wants to be banging in the low post, but I didn't love the game plan last night. And Minnesota did a really good job of taking advantages, causing turnovers in the second half, and just really up that defensive intensity. So a lot of credit to them. I'm super excited for the Western Conference Finals. And Nuggets fans, let me tell you this. From a team who hasn't won a championship since 2008, and I understand there's a lot of you that have been suffering a lot longer than that, I would give up anything to win a championship. If my Celtics won a championship this year, I wouldn't complain for years, right? If my Celtics won a championship, we could miss the playoffs next year. I wouldn't give a shit. Right? So just enjoy it. Maybe go back on YouTube, watch some of the highlights from your playoff run last year. That's what I would probably do. And I know damn well you guys will be back. So I don't know if you're going to make any major moves this offseason. I don't think they're necessary. I think the loss of Bruce Brown hurt a little bit, but I'm sure you'll find somebody to replace him. So Nuggets fans, I'm sorry, but I don't really feel bad for you. I don't think anybody feels bad for you. You just want a goddamn championship. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. This one was fun. There will certainly be more coming this week after the New York Knicks have now been eliminated. Obviously, we have to get to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And there are many, many more of these to do down the line. So this one was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.